Never trust a man who claims he's not ready for a relationship, but demands your devotion, time, energy, and everything. No matter how good you are as a woman, you will never be good enough to a man who isn't ready. This lady got this realization, and she made a decision. Let's see why she took this decision and what happened then. This has been difficult, but she was finally ready. June 8th, 2019, was meant to be the happiest day of her life, the day she would marry her best friend, her soulmate. She wanted to see the man of her dreams at the end of the aisle. She yearned to be swept off her feet by him and begin a new adventure amidst a celebration with loved ones. But none of that happened. She called off the wedding 3 weeks before the date. It took 4 years for her to realize that this man was not right for her. She chose a man that made her feel special, but he did not make her feel valued. When she first took notice of him, she was 16 years old. On June 8th, 2015, they went on their first date, and she was smitten. She felt like she'd been picked out of the crowd. She was the lucky winner of a long-sought-after prize. And when red flags began to appear, she willfully ignored all of them. Ultimatums began right away. She started her freshman year of college in Reno, but drove back to Sacramento every weekend to see him. She had told him he wouldn't do long distance, so she kept jobs close to his home and worked on the weekends. Every week, she would go to class and finish all her homework in Reno, then drive 2.5 hours over the mountains to work her shifts and see him. She would clean his home and buy the groceries. She would meal prep all of their lunches for the week and the miscellaneous tasks as well. He would become angry if she forgot little things, so she tried her best to do everything to his specifications. She wanted to prove how serious she was. He gave her more ultimatums. He wanted to know who she was hanging out with and where she was at all times while at school. If she did not answer the phone right away, he would immediately interrogate her. He would become greatly upset if she chose to see her family for a night rather than be with him. Sometimes he would come home early from work, and she'd be thrown into a panic to finish everything quickly. She was constantly told that she was not doing enough, that she didn't care enough. For 3 years, no Saturday night football games, no parties with friends, no extracurriculars like marching band or clubs. Shout out to 2 of her closest Reno friends who won't see this write-up because her ex told her to cut them out of her life. At that time, she saw it all as a sacrifice for a man she desperately loved and wanted to prove her loyalty for him. She became so caught up in pleasing him that she reduced her own wants and desires. When she graduated in 2018, her fate was sealed as she fully moved into the home she had been carrying for the past 3 years. His hold on her was even tighter. She was looking forward to having more time for friends and family, but that never happened. She was hoping he would be happier now that he had more time with her, but it still was not enough for him. She was housebound even as she continued to work, take classes at the local community college, and volunteer at the hospital. His proposal was her life-awaited goal. She'd done it. She was finally enough to earn a place as his wife. It felt amazing to wear her beautiful engagement ring and call him her fiancé. They were accomplishing their goals. Beautiful home, awesome church, a great gym, a well-paying job for him, and aspirations of grad school for her. They were seeing his family 2 to 3 times a week, whereas her family was reserved for a few times a year during the holidays or a birthday here and there. He was still nitpicking at her household duties, often arguing with her until she broke down in tears. He would berate her over study time, telling her she wasn't working hard enough for grad school. His mother would see her puffy red eyes and her quiet demeanor. She later learned she knew what was going on, but wrote it off as emotional immaturity, not the actual emotional abuse her son was dishing out. Her life was so perfect on the outside, but inside, the depression was beginning to consume her. There was no say in her own life anymore. If they had fun, it was on his terms, and all of her spare time was meant to be spent working. Even wedding planning became a point of contingency. Her family wanted to help, but he would set time regulations on everything. She was walking a very narrow line with no room for deviation. Without getting into details, a particular fight had gone too far. This had happened before, but the darkness she felt this time was more than she could bear. She wanted to end it. She had spent 4 years being told she wasn't good enough, and she came to believe that she never would be. She had escaped the house through the second-story window and was heading to Forest Hill Bridge, where they had shot their engagement photos. Thankfully, her dad and sister talked her down. It was the most frightening day of her life, and she never wanted to feel that way again. So now, the new adventure begins, one that she did not want to face. She wanted to be happily married to the man of her dreams, but she still has goals and aspirations. She still wants to get accepted into grad school and achieve her dream career. She has to learn to find value in herself now. She has the most amazing support system, without which she literally wouldn't be here. She was still healing. She has outbursts of anger and sadness, and she was trying to wade through it all with 2 jobs to put her back on her feet. She has learned what it means to set boundaries and what she cannot tolerate in a relationship. She's grown tremendously from this experience, but there's still more growing to do. Now, June 8th, 2019, was the day she put her wedding dress on and continued her story. She felt beautiful that day, and a huge thanks to their would-be wedding photographer who supported her and pumped her up through this whole shoot. She captured her triumph over this horrible experience. Thanks to her family that threw a party after the shoot, and thanks to those who sent loving messages, and thanks to her big sister, her would-be maid of honor, for seeing her heart and soul in all its ugly mess and still loving and supporting her through it. Thanks to every person who has listened to her story. To all the women out there, no one is worth sacrificing what you hold dear. It doesn't matter if he's good looking, or willing to spend money on you, or promises you the whole world. If he doesn't show you respect now, then he never will. Love is blind. Your family and your friends will see the red flags before you're willing to accept them. Listen to them. Listen to yourself. Every person is deserving of a love that sets their soul on fire, as well as provides a place for rest when weary. For now, she'll be focusing on herself, her goals, her faith, her family and friends. She might be ready to get married again, someday, but not today. Someday, someone might come into her life and love her the way she's always wanted it. Relationships. Her only relationship goal is to be with someone who motivates her to become a better person and show her the potential she didn't see in herself. Please like, comment, and share. Join us and change lives. Pleased to have you around. Blessed we are to get connected with you.